Alright, hey guys, remember CCG back to the video. With this video, I'm going to be going over my Goblin Rider deck profile, and this is post-Phantom Nightmare. We're going to get started here. I run 3 copies of Goblin Rider Doug the Assaulter. This card's easily able to get out. Just use that to detach material from an Exceed monster, and you can get this out. And upon summon, it's able to actually search out a Goblin Rider spell or trap, which you're going to see is actually pretty good for this deck, just because this spell is pretty powerful at bringing a monster out, and not only that, but actually getting it out. So we just want to see 3 copies of that card. Then 2 copies of Goblin Rider Clutter the Noisy. So this card here, upon summon, is actually able to special summon out one of your Goblin Rider monsters. So you're going to see that's great because you're going to be able to exceed pretty easily and get a few exceeds using this. Not only that, but during your opponent's main phase, you can actually get this card out by detaching material from monster on the field. Then I run 2 copies of Goblin Rider Boon the Max Speed. So this card is great because you're actually able to get it out during your opponent's turn, and you're going to see why that's relevant. In one of my combos, I'm actually able to utilize this card not only as like a free monster to get out as like fodder for my IPF Masquerena and to my SP Little Knight, but also as a way to trigger my Goblin Rider's effect during my opponent's turn. Then I run 2 copies of Goblin Rider Meander the Cold-Blooded. So when this card is summoned, you're able to special summon a Goblin monster from your hand, except for this card. And then if this card is in the graveyard, you can attach a material from a monster in the field, and if you do, you can special summon this card. We banish it when it leaves the field. So you can see a lot of these Goblin Rider monsters rely on you detaching Exceed materials, and so you really want to get an Exceed monster out before you get these Goblin monsters out. So for that, I'm going to be running 2 copies of Speedroy Terratop and 1 copy of the Taken Tornborg. So this is just going to be so you can go into the easy rank 3. Same thing with Tour Guide from the Underworld. You're going to see some go-to 1-card combos using these cards in the combo video. And then here we have Psychic Wielder and Tracker here. This is just extenders, level 3 extenders. Make it very easy to exceed. Then, because we're not running the Punk Gold Pride build, which if you guys want to see, let me know. But since we're not running that, we can actually have a lot of space for hand traps. So I run 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 3 copies of Ghost Bell, and 3 copies of Drone Lockbird, and of course the Imperm. Then we have 2 copies of Triple Tag Talent, just because if your opponent's playing during your turn, you're going to be able to utilize that. That's always nice to see. 1 copy of Rhoda, you're going to be able to search out a warrior monster. Usually you just want to search out the Goblin Rider Doug the Assaulter. It's a good card and you always want to see it. Then we have 3 copies of the Grand Arrival of the Goblin Riders. This is going to be your search for the Goblin deck. So you want to use this to get your whatever Goblin monster you need. Not only that, but you're actually able to special summon it out. And you're going to see in one of the combo videos, I'm going to be able to utilize this in order to extend my play by getting out Clutter the Noisy and saving the other monsters' effects. You're going to see what I mean during that combo video. But very powerful card. You want to see 3 copies of it. Called by the Grave, Hand Traps. 1 copy of Grand Meeting of the Goblin Riders. So this card's nice because you actually can normal summon twice with your Goblin monsters. And it does give you a little beefy attack boost, which is good to see. Not only that, but actually lets you make your Goblin monsters kind of level 6 if you're going to exceed them, which is relevant if you're trying to go into your Goblin's Crazy Beast. But otherwise, it's just a good one-up. 3 copies of Imperm, as I said, just the other hand trap. Then I run 1 copy of Full Armored Exceed. So this card, this package of the Exceed's armor works really well with the stack. You're going to see in all the combo videos, you're going to be utilizing it. It's just very easy to go into, and it just provides a lot of value for the deck. 1 copy of Goblin Rider Stampede. So this card is kind of like the Full Armored Exceed for the deck. You only need the 1 copy just in case you want to exceed something during your opponent's turn. But otherwise, it's great. You know, you can also use this to, if you control a Goblin Exceed monster, you can target 1 effect monster in the field, detach a material from a monster on the field, and if you do, you can negate. I also want you guys to keep in mind that these Goblin Riders, their effects can actually be used to detach your opponent's material, because usually the wording on these cards say something about just detaching material from monster in the field. So usually if your opponent's going to get an Exceed monster that relies on having material, being able to use this to bounce off of it, it's really nice. Alright guys, before I go to the extra deck, if you are enjoying the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And make sure to consider joining the membership if you do want to influence the type of content I create. So I run 1 copy of Zeus because this is an Exceed deck. 1 copy of 4 Armored Dark Knight Lancer. So this card is great because you can pretty much not only use this to recycle one of your other armored monsters. So you're going to see there's a little combo. My final combo video is going to be utilizing this little trick in order to extend your plays. But you can actually use our Full Armor Master here, our Full Armor Dark Knight Lancer. Once per turn, if an equipped part becomes equipped to a monster you control, you can attach 1 monster your opponent controls to this card as material. So that's great. It's a non-target form of removing one of your opponent's monsters. It's taking it away so they're not able to utilize them in the grave. It's just one of the best forms of removal, and you're able to do this very easily. One copy of Goblin's Crazy Beast. You're not going to be summoning this card out, but you can go into it, and taking your opponent's spell or trap is nice, and it could also protect your monsters. So Xyz's Armor Fortress. This card is nice because it is your bridge into the full rank 7 here, but we are going to be using it to search out our full armored Xyz, and that's going to really be utilizing the combo. Then one copy of Downward Magician because it's an Xyz deck. One copy of Xyz's Armor Torpedo, so this card is nice because it gives you the draw. And also I want to let you guys know that with Xyz's Armor Fortress, it can't be used as material while it has any material. So really, that's why it works really well for this deck, because you can use the Goblin Rider monsters to bounce off of that sort of seemingly negative effect and just remove whatever's there in order to get those monsters out and use their effects afterwards. Two copies of Goblin Rider Big Head Gabunga. So this card is nice because upon Xyz summon, you can actually search out a Goblin monster from your deck to your hand. So obviously that's extremely powerful. And not only that, but if a material is attached from a monster on the field, you can target one other face-up monster in the field and attach it to this card's material. So that's great because you're obviously going to be able to detach monsters' Xyz material during your opponent's turn and then just take one of their monsters, and it's very disruptive. Then during the end phase, you can attach one Goblin monster from your deck to this card's material for recyclability. One copy of Cicada King because it's a rank 3. Same thing with the Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. You can get these out pretty easily, usually using full armored Xyz during your opponent's turn or the Goblin Rider Stampede. Then one copy of Fortune Tune. So this card's nice because if you need a way to attack, then you can attack with this card and then just power up your Zeus. And then we have the Utopic Draco Future and Utopic Future. These are pretty easy to get out. You usually just want 2 Xyz monsters with the same rank. Of course, we're just running rank 3s for the most part. So you're going to be able to do that relatively easily. Get that out, and you have a pretty powerful boss monster. One copy of SP Little Knight with the IP Masquerena, pretty standard and pretty easy to get out because you can summon out fodder very easily for this deck and use that in order to bring back some material. Okay guys, so for the side deck, here's a few cards that I want you to consider but didn't end up running. So the one copy of Kagemucha Knight, it's a level 3 monster that's an extender. It's just that it requires you to normal summon a level 3 monster. So just keep that in mind in case you want to run that. And then the future support that I want you guys to know about is with Goblin Biker Gryo Trio here, is that you're actually going to be able to attack directly with your Goblin monsters. So this could be great in case you need to finish your opponent, but don't want to go through certain beefy monsters, just attack directly using this. Besides that, it is going to give you a bit of protection. But yeah guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe and all that. And stay tuned for the combo video, it's coming out soon. See you guys next time.